let's just define what resilience is. And that's the capacity to recover quickly from challenges. And there's a couple of aspects. The first half, as Jen and I normally do, the first half, I'm going to discuss the really practical aspects of how we can cope with this, what we can do and put structures in place for our lives and to help us keep building that resilience. And in the second half, Jen's got some really interesting information on a physiological level and an emotional level about the connection between our mind and heart, and how that is an important process for us to be resilient in our lives. Okay, so first of all, I drew a picture, and I should have done it and actually shared the screen, but I drew it on a piece of paper, very old school tech, and I just wanted to hold that up. Can you guys see? Can you all see it well? All right. So this is the process that we all go through when we have challenges in our lives and we feel we aren't coping. All right. So we start off with catastrophizing. We then somehow claw our way into a state of confidence, and then we detach from the situation and we become the observer. All right. So another way to describe these different situations, if you're in the catastrophizing phase, we are making, well, the perfect cliche for that is making a mountain out of a molehill, okay? We are expecting everything in our lives to be perfect, which of course nothing is. And when we feel unsafe, when we feel that things are out of our control, things are happening that we didn't plan for, that we don't want, we tend to catastrophize it, all right? But of course, we can't stay in that state. And at some stage, we have to move out of that and move into a state of confidence. Now, the way we build confidence is through experience, right? When you're confident in your ability to do an item, right? You're confident in your ability to drive your car because you've had years and years of experience doing so, okay? You trust yourself that you have these skills. So confidence builds experience. And that is a good place to be, but it's not the ultimate place. Where we want to be is the observer, right? The observer of what is going on. And we do this by getting perspective, okay? My very high-tech diagram. So emotional and mental resilience is about moving through the tough times and reminding ourselves that this is not the end of the story, okay? So when something happens in our lives, we tend to stop, right? We come up against that brick wall and go, oh, this thing has happened to me. And we kind of forget that that is just now, that is just today. That is just, as Jen and I were discussing it, that is just 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. It does not mean it is the entire picture of your life. It doesn't mean that this is going to continue indefinitely. It just means that is what's happening now. And for those of us who have that emotional and mental resilience, we are able to move past those challenges in our lives and those moments in our lives that much faster. And we do this by, knowing ourselves more, doing the work that we're all doing right now in calls like this, the work that you guys have done with Jenny. When we keep working on ourselves, that beautiful resilience keeps growing within us, okay? But there's also a couple of other things that we can put in place that kind of really support us, and that's called support structures. So I would like to share a story with you guys of something that happened to me about 9 years ago. So my daughter was about 1 year old, and I had just separated from my ex-husband. And we went to a therapist with the idea of how can we navigate co-parenting, right? So we were obviously still in a bit of conflict. We only just separated, and we thought we needed a third party to help mediate this process. And at the time, I was enormously overwhelmed. Okay, I was just thinking, oh my God, how am I going to be a single mother? How am I going to look after such a young child on my own? And I was really, really, really freaking out. Okay, so I was in that catastrophizing stage. And the reason I was there, yes, the goal was to discuss co-parenting. But my deeper meaning, which I can only recognize in hindsight, was I was desperately wanting to be rescued. I was desperately wanting someone to go, it's okay, I'm going to do it for you. I can see you're not coping, and I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to help you. And my therapist turned around to me and she said, Sonia, you have to create your own support structures, even if you have to pay for it. And that one sentence completely, like, I got it. I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. Because I was still trying to get the support from outside, outside people and outside things in my life. And we keep coming back to this in our coaching sessions. Sorry, I thought Bongi was joining. where it's that external validation, that external support versus internal. And self-empowerment is really about shifting that balance so that most of our internal validation, our internal strength, our wisdom, our solutions, our answers comes more from the inside than the outside. So at the time, I was, as I said, really looking for outside things to come in and rescue me. And when my therapist said to me, you need to create those own support structures, even if you have to pay for it. And the reason she said, even if you have to pay for it, because at the time, I didn't have those support structures in place. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm actually not that powerless. I can pay for an au pair to help me a few days a week, to give me some time to build up my business again, to give me that space that I need with my child, and trying to create that balancing act. And that was such a simple solution. And I took that advice, and I've really used that as advice going forward, since that time in my life. And support structures are so vital to help us move from a state of catastrophizing to confidence. Because when we know, if the shit's hit the fan, that we have things and systems and people that we can rely on, right? Even if we have to pay for them, it immediately makes us feel that much calmer. Okay,
and now I want to discuss a concept that Sonia said I was going to talk about, and this is heart-brain coherence. This is another way to increase your emotional and mental resilience. Now, they've done research that emotions actually affect your heart rhythm, and your heart sends more signals to your brain than your brain sends to your heart. We thought it was the other way around. The brain signals every part of your body, but your heart's got more to do with emotion and with calming you down than your brain does. So, and talking about, now we can bring in that energy flows where attention goes, because when you feel negative emotions, if you're feeling tense or irritable or anxious, your heart rhythm shifts and it becomes disordered and it becomes erratic. The actual heartbeat becomes erratic. And your heart has a significant effect on the brain, not only on your emotions, but on your cognitive functioning as well, on your memory, your focus, your attention. All that goes out the window when you're not feeling great, and it all starts with the heart. So when you experience these negative emotions, your heart becomes erratic and it sends a signal of incoherence to the brain. And then the brain triggers a stress response to your body and your mind. And you can't calm your mind. You can't think yourself right. It's not possible in this state. Now, adversely, when you experience positive emotions, this is the energy flows. You are focusing on positive emotions and experiencing them, like appreciation, love, care. Then your heart rhythm becomes more harmonious and coherent. It then sends this coherent signal to the brain, and you have your heart and brain synchronize. And this is what heart-brain coherence actually is. It leads to a more positive and peaceful state, and your head becomes calmer and clearer. Okay, so I'm actually going to talk you through a technique, guys, and you can sit and do this right now while I'm telling you how to do it, that helps you to shift to heart-focused positive states. And you can practice this every day, and it builds up more and more mental and emotional resilience, or you can use it in the moment when you're triggered. So it's a beautiful technique to be able to practice, and it honestly does work. I've tested it with my heart rate on the phone. So I've done it before and after, and it really does bring your heart rate down. So, okay, and it changes the physiology in your heart as well. It starts to, over time, change the actual physiology so that heart-brain coherence becomes more and more of a norm for you. So what you're going to do now is you're going to focus your attention on the area of your heart. Now you're going to start breathing into that area and feel your breath flowing in through your heart and out through your heart. Breathe a little slower and deeper than you normally would. As you continue to breathe through the area of your heart, recall a positive feeling, a compassion or love for a specific person, or even a pet. It could even be a special place or a memory that just evokes these beautiful feelings. And just continue to breathe into the heart area, feeling those positive feelings. Now, as you continue with your heart space breathing, you feel a genuine love and gratitude for this person or place, or just focus on a feeling of ease and calm. Okay, and I suggest that you practice this every day, guys. And when you're triggered, it's a great thing to use if you can focus that much and get yourself away from the situation. But it really works beautifully. And it's not a meditation. It's just, I'm going into my heart space, I'm breathing, I'm feeling that love filling me up, and then the energy flows, the attention is there, the energy starts flowing positively. And this technique creates a more coherent heart rhythm, because now your emotions are feeling good. It sends that safe feeling, that safe signal to your brain, and everything calms down. So it shifts your emotions, it calms your mind, and it creates a beautiful sense of balance and harmony in you. And it definitely builds the mental and emotional resilience that you need. It works on both of them. So you can use any of these techniques that I've taught you in the moment when you're triggered. But I love doing this heart-brain coherence technique, because it really, the more you practice it, the more it builds up that resilience. And when you're triggered, you don't react as intensely as you would have in the past, and you recover a lot quicker. And that's what resilience means.